And welcome back. Well, no matter where you look, our personal data is being collected. But do we have the right to own our data as property? Richie Chwaru is an author and entrepreneur, and he is here to talk more about this issue. Good morning to you, Richie.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You know, thanks for being here. I think the conversation amongst so many friends is we think about like our smartphones, hearing things we're saying and ads popping up that reflect that. But what we're talking about today goes way deeper than that, and that is our personal data being used and sold in the marketplace in things even like medical areas. Talk a little bit about this issue and what we need to know about our personal data.
Yeah, I think it's important for us to realize that it's almost turning into digital slavery, right? It's not just our browser data, it's not just our Facebook or our Google, it's our healthcare data, it's our geolocation data, it's the amount of energy your home uses, it's the transactions that you made and what types of flowers you purchased. This is all being sold in a $200 billion marketplace. That's about the GDP of the country of Greece.
That's insane. I mean, sometimes you think, oh, cool, now I'm getting ads that really reflect what I'm looking for. But it's truly, like you said, there's a form of manipulation there that is that we're really unaware of and is taking advantage of us and making money off of us as well. So there's an app that we can look at and get on our iOS or Android that can stop this. Is that correct?
Absolutely, and it's a pretty simple app. It's a beautiful UI, and when you download it and you use it, what you're doing is you're joining a movement to claim your data as your property. Property, as you know, is very powerful, right? You own your car as your property, you have a title for it. You own your home as a property, you have a title for it. What we do is we give you a title of ownership for your data so that then you can operate on your data and set preferences as you would around your property. For example, are you okay with it being leased for compensation? Would you like to donate it for a tax write-off? Would you like to pass it off in your estate? And we're starting with healthcare data.
Yeah, okay, so address that. I think all of this is probably a little overwhelming for people to hear because some of it's new and some of it is just, there's a lot of depth to it. So let's start with medical records because from my understanding, electronic medical records of ours are being sold. For instance, like if we have lab work being done, that information is then sold to people?
Yeah, I think, what a lot of us don't realize, and a lot of doctors don't know this as well, is that when you walk into a doctor's office and you sign that form that says the doctor could treat you, the companies that write the software that the doctors use to capture that information, those companies take our data, they de-identify it, which means they remove some of the personal information, but they sell that data downstream, hundreds of millions of records at a time, into a $67 billion supply chain for healthcare data. That's 67 of the 200. And it's a pretty sizable market that we don't think about, right? You don't think about that when you sit in a doctor's office. What we wanted to do is to make sure that consumers can set their preferences so they can now have a seat at the table as we go off to those organizations that currently collect, buy, or sell your data and let them know of your preferences so that it could be respected. And if you'd like to be paid when your data is used, we facilitate that cash transaction back to you.
Well, and I think that's an important distinction because you're not saying all of that information that's being sold may be bad because some of it, since it's depersonalized, might help medical advances per se. But what you're saying is we can then make money off of it. How do we do that?
So property is a well understood construct, right? When you have a title ownership for your data, you can lease property. So we capture your preferences in the app to say, hey, you know what? I don't want to be in the marketplace. And so you can say, I want to be out. Or you could set your preferences that says, I'm okay having my data used, but only for good, to discover diseases. Or you can set your preferences that says, my data is being used right now anyway. I'm okay with it continuing to be used, and I'll give you my consent so that these organizations can operate above board as opposed to sort of in the shady area. And in exchange for my consent, you would pay me an annual lease. We negotiate that on your behalf once you've downloaded the app and set your preferences. In that cash transactions, we move the cash back to you.
I love this. I love the idea. I'm really excited to learn more. I know other people are too. So tell us where we can go to find out more about this whole concept and the app.
In order to join the movement and download the app, you can go to the Google App Store, the Google Play Store, or the Apple App Store and search for hashtag My31. That's hashtag MY31. Download the app, join the movement.
And that's part of the 31st human right, empowering people to own their own data as property. Thanks so much for joining us, Richie.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, fascinating. That website as well for more is hu-manity.co. You can learn more there as well.